Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been not too long since we talked in the podcast schedule, at least. You were just a few episodes ago, but I've been going pretty slow. But I think it's been like a year actually in actual time.
Sounds about right. I feel like
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So what's new with you? What's going on? How's the Slipstream world going? I'll start with that.
Little bit of adjustment. Ray decided that he was gonna kind of reinvent the wheel when it came to Slipstream. So now I think he's just making it a solo project for right now. Um, Things have just kind of happened in terms of that. But it's just kind of a
Fair enough.
reinvention. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens in the future with that. But we have because we have a show coming up on Friday with the band, and I was going to be doing that with Ray as well. But I think he's just doing it now as a solo act until
Legit.
he figures out the next thing he wants to do with his project. So we'll
Cool.
see what happens.
Who else you playing with? You're with Andrew, and the name is
The
different
name is
now.
new. Did he tell you about?
Um, yes, he told me the new name, but I forgot it.
Okay, so it's I believe it's Andrew in the
Andrew.
Clearviews now.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Okay,
I
so it's
heard
new. Okay, so we're
different. Maybe I did.
it's possible,
He
but
told me on the last episode
so yeah,
potentially.
so the
But yeah.
big thing is that we played a show at the Meat Locker back in December, and
Hmm.
our drummer Ivo, who had been playing with us, who'd been playing with the group since the inception of the band, had to step down because he just is one of those guys who's in a million projects, and he wanted to focus more on his solo stuff, his slider P
Hmm.
material, which is understandable because with all the stuff that he's doing with, especially, he's now in a band called The Achievers, who are essentially a Grateful Dead cover band,
Mm.
among other things, and they merged all of the various projects from Midnight Fox and Slider P and Ziggy all kind of morph into this project called The Achievers. And so that eats up a lot of his time, especially now that people will just eat up cover bands, especially Grateful Dead cover bands.
Of
They're in
course.
high demand and they're getting substantial amounts of gigs playing
Cool.
under that names. But so I just wanted to focus on solo stuff, which I totally get as a writer. You want to pursue your own music. Um, so I totally understand his decision to leave. Um, so this show is going to be a trio. It's going to be myself, Andrew, obviously, and Scarpa.
Okay. Cool.
But I
And
believe
it's
we're
going to be
also
the
getting a bass
clear
player
views.
too. So again,
The clear views. You said.
yes, that's going to be we're debuting under that name starting Friday, and
Cool.
day before Valentine's Day.
Nice. Um, any other projects you got going on?
In terms of me, the last time that we spoke, I had talked about putting together my first full length in
Right. Right.
like 6 years. I think
Hmm.
the first full length that I released was Wilderness and Mirrors, and that seems like a lifetime ago. I recorded that back when Max just moved into West Orange, and he was just setting up a studio. And now his studio is more properly ventilated and soundproofed and all that stuff since he redesigned it. So it's kind of it, and also just the process of how we make these songs together has changed so much. Even though not much has really changed, but the science that we have figured out has been figured out, and we really know each other super well. We've known each other for years. We get each other. We feed off of each other's energy. It's just a really good partnership. Um, and Yeah, so Laughter Music's been out since July of last year. It's a concept album without trying to be a concept album. It's the best way I can kind of describe it. Like I kind of wrote it with really one goal in mind is that I've always struggled as a songwriter thinking about just the releases that I've put out to the world and just the kind of music that I enjoy listening to and the kind of music that I've been writing since starting. And the one goal that I had was to write catchier songs. And not that I hadn't before, I just didn't think I could. But then I sat down and I said, no, I have plenty of times. I did it with the taco song. I did it with the soup song. I did it with the breakfast song. I mean, yes, okay, all food songs I know, and I don't just write about food, but it's just like I, I, I know I have the capability to write a catchy song if I want to. Even on the last thing, Secret Truth is a catchy song, and I only wrote a single verse, and that was it. So
Hmm.
the ability was always there. I just doubted myself as a songwriter, so then I just kind of decided to not care as much about how I perceived I myself as a songwriter. I say, screw it, I'll just write some songs, and then I just wrote a whole bunch of catchy songs without even really trying, and I made them in a thematic way, in a way that I didn't plan on. I essentially wrote a breakup album, and I didn't try to, but I guess it was on the brain subconsciously, and a lot of the songs fit the theme, even though they aren't directly about any particular person. I could easily slot names, and people could easily slot names who know me, but they're not about anybody particular. They're just about circumstances and situations. I kind of wrote outside of myself in a lot of ways, including resurrecting an old song that I had put away um, a long time ago. It was always so it was a very interesting recording process because it was just one of those things where I just felt proud every single time I left Max's because I just knew that every song that we were working on was just sounding good, and it was just I knew it was going to be the best thing I ever put out to date, and I just couldn't wait to release it.
Yeah. So let's give the listener, you did this a little bit, but just some context. So earlier on the last episode, we talked about Harry's Killing It, right, from 2024. I forget when that came out, July 2024. And that was a departure on its own, right? That was a venture into doing like some sample
Oh
driven,
yeah,
like super internet meme culture, Easter eggs, but it was really short. And we did talk about laughter music a little bit as well. So if anyone wants to get like the the first, I guess you started recording it a little bit, maybe, or you booked the dates or
I
something.
think I
But
booked the dates. I have to look back at the archives of the podcast to know.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if I
don't
started
remember.
recording at that point or not,
Yeah, I
but I
don't think
know
you
I
did.
definitely have the dates at least
You had the
set in
dates and
stone.
you had a couple of the songs.
I
And
had a
yeah, yeah,
couple of
yeah.
songs, and there were still a couple that I ended up writing like later. Um,
Yeah. But you had known, I think the point I was gonna say is like you had known, so you basically went from, and if we go back again to, you can even listen to, Harrison's been on the podcast a bunch of times. If you don't know, please, I think we've talked about all of your albums, I think. So
Pretty
you could
sure.
go back and listen to any of them, any of those previous episodes to hear the context. But you had like the two roast beef albums, EPs that
Yeah.
came out, which actually I thought solidified a sound that very much I attached to in my brain as your sound at
Yeah.
that time. And then Harry's Killing It added another element, as you said, that was like your live sound type of
Yeah.
thing. And then this project, you were excited because, as you said, it was the first album you've come out with since Splash of the Oceanic Sky. But
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about Oceanic Sky. I forgot
right.
that.
Um, I have
You
the
know, your
Spotify
release,
open.
my
I
release
have
is
the
better than I do.
Spotify. I have the Spotify open that
Oh,
I'm looking
that
at.
makes sense.
But yeah. So you're, but you've all, yeah, as you said, you worked with all these, with Max Rauch from Domestic Bliss, and he's also been on before. So if people want to listen to some of his other stuff, uh, feel free to go back and listen to that. Um, yeah, and then yeah. So continue. So back to 2025. So laughter music. You had previewed it on the last episode a little
Yeah.
bit,
So
but
actually,
now it's actually out.
now it's
And
actually out.
yeah.
It's officially been out. Actually, going back to what you were saying about the two roast beefs, I actually kind of
Hmm.
agree with you in a sense of how it was around that time where I started to feel more comfortable with the idea of recording, and I started to feel more locked into a sound. Because like when you're first recording, you don't know what you sound like, and you're just figuring everything out for the first time. But by the time
Hmm.
I was making those records, even though I don't play any of those songs live, and I probably should at some point, because I there's a lot of good stuff on there. I actually went back recently and listened to all my albums, and I forgot a lot of those songs. And I was like,
Nice. That's
damn,
good though.
they're good. I need to start
Yeah,
playing some of this material because it's just I genuinely don't think about this stuff because I always am thinking about the next thing.
of course. Yeah,
Um, but I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of really good material on both of those that I need to spend time in relearning. But you're right. It was
but
around that time when I
yeah.
kind of like, what'd you say?
No, I was just gonna say that was. You can say it. You
Yeah, it
say
was like
it.
I definitely felt locked into
Hmm.
who I was as an artist, and it really started to make sense. Actually, I do play the Goodbye Epilogue. Who am I kidding? I always
Yeah.
play. I
Okay.
play that from time to time because that's just a fun song to play. Um, but but then like I also just I also don't take myself seriously, which is why Harry's Killing It came out the way it did. And I really wanted to make. I didn't intend to make the record sound the way it did. That EP sound the way it did. It just kind of worked out. And Max being just the goofy guy that he is, and hearing the stuff that he does with Cause, it only made things easier to work with him on something like that because only he could make an album as weird as Harry's Killing It sound accessible.
Sure. And
And
but also before we even move forward, like 5 minutes in Arizona and Splash of the Oceanic Sky are way darker. I perceive them as darker, at least sounding,
oh,
and in
100%.
subject matter too. I mean, we talked about it,
Oh,
even than
100%.
roast beef, right? So like, but Harry's Killing It is a complete different
Yeah,
angle,
it's definitely
you know.
different, and it's funny because like 5 Minutes in Arizona came out of like I had the songs pretty much locked in, and it took a whole 2 years to record everything, and a lot of that darkness that you describe, I think a lot of it came from frustration that I thought it would be out in 2016,
Right,
and it
right, right.
wasn't.
We talked about that.
And,
Yeah.
and that's no fault of anybody's. It's just that
Right.
that's just how that worked out. And Max and I just recorded that whole thing over the span of 2 days, and it was insane how quickly we got everything done.
Hmm.
Um, and this is also that was the only one that we did back when he had that space in BC Music. It was the only one that we didn't do in West Orange. And it still sounds great.
It sounds great. Yeah.
Even when I went back to revisit it last year, I was like pleasantly surprised, like everything that he recorded in that time frame, like how good he was able to get good quality recordings, and just knowing the groups he's worked with around that time frame, it blows my mind to see how far he's come. And it's funny, I listened to my stuff in reverse order, so I started with Laughter Music and worked my way down,
Yeah.
just because I like the chronological backwardsness.
Sure.
That's actually how I listened to Big Thief. Funny enough, I started
Oh, cool.
with their 2021 or 2022 album, double album, and then I worked my way backwards, and that's how I got into Big Thief.
Cool.
I still haven't listened to the new record, but I will at some point. Um, but and Oceanic Sky for sure has a lot of really dark material. There's a lot of I was grappling with a lot of intense feelings from the George Floyd protests that happened. Floor for the Board is basically was written after George Floyd. Sideways, which is about my parents' divorce, um,
Hmm.
which interestingly enough I wrote that song like 5 years before they actually got divorced.
Wow.
So it wasn't.
It's a long
It
time.
was. It was like at that point when I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of
Hmm.
when, and just me being okay with it happening. So and it was funny because you had like the first couple of songs which are like light and fluffy, then the middle of the record is just like, here's my darkest stuff, and then we're
Hmm.
gonna end with the taco song because we need something light to end this record.
I mean, that one's pretty dark too because you get chicken instead of beef, though.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess you could think of it
joking.
in that terms.
Not
I
at
just
all.
think of it as like a
No,
gag. It's just
that's
like,
the beginning of the sense of humor really coming
yeah,
through,
which
even
is
on that album.
which
Yeah.
is funny because I wrote that song first, but the Soup song came out first, even though I wrote that
Mm.
after. Um, but that's also just going along the lines of the humor. So it just I that like Harry's Killing It was mostly just a continued attempt to lean into the humor of my persona uh, and laughter music in a way I feel like continues that theme, even though the subject matter in a lot of songs doesn't really lend itself to that. But there are a couple songs that definitely lend themselves in that project. Um,
Well,
I would say,
that's why I opened this whole thing up to set the foundation, because I do think, above all, the best thing to say up front for me is that I see all of those pieces represented on laughter music, which I think is really cool. I feel like you like addressed all the points of the previous eras in a way.
yeah, in a weird way, it's like I didn't try to conceptualize what the songs were. I was just writing songs that I thought sounded good, and I just kept making things that were very interesting to me. Um, and like it just like the flow just started to work out to my favor. And the song I just really loved. Again, it was a really fun recording process because all the songs just were shaping up so nicely in a way that, not that the others weren't, like the other projects weren't, but this one just really had it just felt different, and it just felt another side of my personality was starting to emerge from that. And it was also around that time where I got my Telecaster, which I've been after for a long
Mm,
time. And so
nice.
it's also really funny with the way that the recordings are, because in the last two songs, It's Been a Minute and Heartache and Pain, I recorded on the Telecaster. I didn't record on the Les Paul,
Ooh.
which is really exciting. And it was, it's like having a lighter Les Paul. It
Mm.
was like, and I have like I have the humbucker pickups. It was exactly what I wanted. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. I love tellies.
Me
They're
too.
my
I've been
favorite
after one
electric.
for years, and I was trying Guitar Center guitars, and like everyone I tried, I just like after you play the same type of guitar over and over and over again, they start to sound the same. So I was like, I don't know if this is the guitar. And then, weirdly enough, I picked up these exact glasses in Scarsdale, where I get
Which
my
I dig, by the
glasses.
way.
Thank you.
I was going to bring that up.
I
Yeah,
love these glasses too. Um,
very cool.
I learned that there was a music shop 10 minutes away from the shop,
Hmm.
and so it was right by the train station. And the moment that I looked in the shop and I saw that guitar, it was a Sunburst or Sunburst adjacent Telecaster with humbucker pickups. And there was an old Blues Deluxe amp ready to be played on.
Oh, nice.
Plugged the guitar into the amp, played a couple of chords, and I just instantly knew that was it. It was the first one I picked up the entire time I was there. I also tried the Jack White model, which was really fun
Ooh.
because
I didn't know they had that.
at that time I had seen Jack White.
Cool. Where'd you see him?
I saw. So here's fun. So last year I went to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Steve Carter, Andrews, I'm sure
Right.
mentioned him at some
Yeah,
points at the show.
totally. He worked on Andrew's last album.
Yes,
Andrew went down there. We talked
Andrew
about it.
went down
Yeah.
there. Yeah, and Steve also wrote the music for that film Gazer,
Right. We talked about that too. Andrew
which
brought
is
that up.
available to stream now.
Yes. Cool. I gotta watch that. And tell everyone your connection to that.
Yeah, so here's how. So the story of Gazer started actually not with us working on the score together. It was actually him being in Jersey because he comes twice a year, and so he was in town, and he hits me up one night and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to Garfield. They're filming some sort of movie. Like my friend's filming a movie and he needs extras. Do you want to meet up with me?" I said, "Okay." And I didn't know much about it. I met up. I don't know where I actually met up with him, but we had ultimately got together at a Burger King parking lot, and then we were trying to find him, and then we ultimately found him somewhere else, and then we ultimately congregated to the Burger King, and he rented a bus, and so we're filming for hours in this bus scene, and I have absolutely no idea what's going on, but I'm fascinated by the process because it's the first time I've ever been on a movie set.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how that started. And then ultimately, months later, he messages me again when he's in town or coming to town and saying, "Hey, I'm working. So you know that thing that we did the other day, the film. So I'm actually writing the music for it, and I want you to play sax." This was around the time that we were working on. I think we're working on Engine of the Valentines at this point, like the album Engine of the Valentines, and or yeah, it was around that time. And so I went to his parents' house in Mawa, and so he was showing me the ideas for the film score. He was playing like the main theme and stuff like that. And he told me what to play, and I played the melodies that he was coming up with. I had my alto, I had my tenor. I don't think he ever used any of the alto tracks for the film score, but I ultimately rented a Barry for the score. And interestingly enough, I'll say this because this actually just came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
He had this track that he had this idea for a melody on the Barry sax that he wanted to play, and he sent it to Ryan for the movie, but he didn't think that they would use it because it was just too aggressive sounding. But he liked the melody anyway. It was this thing that went like do 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 bo do 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 bo, and he wanted to ultimately maybe use it, or thinking that if he used it for anything, it was like for a chase scene or something like that, like a very intense scene. He ultimately didn't. Ryan ended up not using it for the film because it just didn't fit the rest of the movie and didn't really make sense. But Steve kept it for himself. He actually just released that sample for a song that he released under his own name called 2666. He just put it out, I think, either Monday or Sunday. It was like within the last couple of days.
Cool.
But anyway, sidetrack. So we kept recording all these different things on the Barry. These playing, having me play all these like weird multiphonic type things on tenor and the Barry and all that stuff. And then all this time later, the movie was able to stream on Prime, I believe, also Apple TV. It's played in a bunch of theaters. It's made a way around a bunch of festivals. France really liked it. There was also, while I was there in Nashville, they were selling cassettes in France of the score when I was was there a year ago. They only had 20 left online, supposedly.
Very cool.
So yeah, a lot of exciting things. And so I was there for a little under a week, and it was really fun. The only thing that sucked was that the allergies were really bad in Nashville. I wasn't prepared for that. I went mid-April, which was my spring break, and he really took me for a good time. He showed me a lot of the local places. We saw a couple of really great shows. One of them was Ben Queller, who had been around the block for a number of years. I wasn't super familiar with his music, or really knew the name at all. But the cool thing about him, well, actually, the unfortunate thing about him is that he lost a son.
Yeah.
And I know that he put out a record, I think, last year. I haven't heard it.
Yeah, what's his son's name?
He has a cool
name. It's like he had good music, his son.
Yes. And I think one of the songs that he played that night was written by his son, or he had started it but never finished it. Something along those lines. But yeah,
Dorian.
He's a phenomenal musician. It was a really fun show. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But the crazy thing about that was his bass player is Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
You will when I say that he was McLovin in Superbad.
Oh shit! Yeah, and I did know that.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
He also was in the Kick-Ass movies. He was the motherfucker in Kick-Ass. And not so much the first Kick-Ass, but Kick-Ass 2. But he's in both. And he's had a lot of movies ever since. But unfortunately, he's just known as McLovin. But he's a really fun bass player. He's a lefty. He really gets into it. It was just didn't know what to, and I also like forgot that he was playing bass until they said Christopher Mintz. I'm like, all right, you're playing bass for Ben. That's cool. And then And then on my actual birthday, the Friday of my birthday, I saw Jack White. And
Where at Third Man?
no, I did go to Third Man though. He wasn't there, but no, there was a
Hmm.
newer venue. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Terminal 5. I had to
Okay.
look up the name off the top of my
Hmm.
head, but it was a newer venue that Steve had wanted to go to anyway, and it was just a perfect storm of greatness. And Jack was so killer live.
Hell
His
yeah.
band is insanely good. The drummer actually was from the Raconteurs,
Oh, nice.
so
That's
that was
sick.
really cool when they did. They didn't do a lot of Raconteur stuff, but they did Broken Boy Soldier, and they did Steady as She Goes, which they don't
Hmm.
do every single night.
Hmm.
But the night that they do 2 shows in every city, and so they'll do Broken Boy Soldier every time, but they won't play Steady as She Goes every night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
It's sick that you
Um,
got to see it. I love that
it was
song.
great. Yeah, so he did a lot of obviously it's a lot of his solo material. He had that new record No Name, which I love.
Mm.
Love his last record, and I actually have it on vinyl. And
Nice.
um, and then but he also does a ton of Stripe stuff, and he doesn't always play the same songs. Like he'll do Seven Nation Army all the time. He'll play Icky Thump every night, but he'll kind of switch it up. Like when I saw him, he did Ball and Chain, which is really cool.
Ooh,
He
nice.
did he didn't do Deadliest in the Dirty Ground when I saw him, but I would love to have heard that. But
Mm-hmm.
he did do Fell in Love with the Girl, which is my favorite Stripe song and always will
Nice.
be. So the fact I got to hear him play that was more than enough for me. But he just is so killer. And then when I tried his guitar,
Mm-hmm.
again at that point I had seen him, so I know what it looked like. I didn't realize how loud that thing is because he has the extra
Mm.
because like the volume pedal pushes down, so it gives you that extra boost of volume. And I was like, oh my god, this is way too much. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna be playing this, because it's a little heavier than a telly
Sure.
anyway. But once you have that volume pushed down, like oh, that's way too much. I'm not playing like stadiums or bigger
Right.
venues like that. I'm playing
Yeah. Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
That's gonna be too much.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's like $2,000 more, or that's like $3,000. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $3,000 on a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to want to bring it out and play it anywhere.
No.
You know.
So, but I was very happy with the telly I got. I also ultimately got the amp too.
Oh, you got the Blues Deluxe?
Yeah,
Hell
which I
yeah.
liked because not that I don't like my orange. The orange is just is extremely bulky and it's extremely heavy.
Yeah.
So carrying it from show to show, especially with the places that we play, that doesn't give us a lot of space to work with. So, and I wanted a smaller amp anyway, just to have
Yeah.
the consolidarity, and just Fender on Fender sounds great,
Yeah.
and the amp just sings.
I have a Blues Junior I won't get rid of. I need to get a new amp, but I need to get like an acoustic one that I could plug a mic into as well to simplify stuff. But the Blues Junior rules. Like I
Yeah,
just love that amp.
any
I don't
old
have to
school
get rid of
Fender
it.
amp is
Yeah.
they just sing so well.
Yeah, and they're loud and yeah. I love the blues line, even though they're not the one that Jeff Buckley played. I feel like you could get some cool like Jeff Buckley kind of tones from
Okay.
playing a telly through it.
Yeah, I also need to watch that documentary I know came out about it, or I don't know if it's out, but it will be.
Really? I
There's a
like
Jeff
Jeff Buckley a lot. I'm gonna
there's a
watch
Jeff
that.
Buckley documentary that
Cool.
I don't know if it's streaming. I don't know if it's or in theaters, but I know that there is one.
Cool. I gotta look that up. Have you ever listened to his live album, Live at Cine?
See,
Cine?
I haven't done the deep dive into Buckley. I've listened to Grace obviously, and I love it. It's a great
Grace is
record.
good for sure. It's a great record, but you specifically should. I mean, not just you, but I recommend to a lot of musicians, especially people that play open mics or like shows and stuff, to listen to Live at Cine. Like it's like a French name, but it's a
Okay.
place in New York. He played there like every week. I at just like it was like a restaurant or something, and like a supper. I don't know what it was, like a cafe. But
Yeah.
just hearing Jeff Buckley play his shit, which is like super unique. Actually, he's got like a little flair of your style when you play solo, honestly.
Yeah.
Just playing the electric. But he's
Yeah.
taught he banters with the crowd and stuff. So they keep all of that in there. It's like a live record, but like a live record from him playing at like a coffee shop,
Oh, it's like
which is pretty cool.
Lauryn Hill unplugged, but with actual banter, not just rambling.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of it's with
Well,
banter.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
you know the story
I
of
didn't
Lauren.
listen to the Lauryn Hill unplugged
I
version,
don't.
but I
Well, you
do
don't
like
really
Lauryn
need
Hill.
to, but
Okay.
do you know the story about like Lauren Hill and all that? Like what happened with her?
Which story? I don't know.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to
Yeah.
tell, but like the main thing was that during like the height of her success, obviously she had this education, which
Mm-hmm.
is a classic record and won a whole bunch of awards and all that stuff. But like Lauren just, like it's still not 100% clear what happened, but clearly something really bad happened. She had issues with her label Columbia. There were like legality issues, and like by the time that she did, like she just never released a second album, and to this day still hasn't released a second album.
For
Who
that, for
knows if it
sure.
ever will?
Yeah.
But the only
Yeah.
other album that she ever released was an MTV Unplugged album from like 2001 or 2000.
Really? See, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so
And
like
it sucks.
it's not that it sucks. It's that she sounds bad. She blew her voice out before the show,
Oh shit.
and a lot of
Okay.
the songs are unfinished,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just long, and there's no real hooks. It's just like it's all new
Mm.
material. None of it ever got recorded, or if there is, we don't know about it. And she just is rambling about random things. Like she brings up this idea of like reality, and
Oh
it opens
yeah.
up with her
Okay.
talking about like picking out clothes and making it look like the right realness of what she's trying to present to us. I don't know. It's a very strange and unsettling album, and like I'm not a huge. I don't really listen to a lot of MTV Unplugged.
I like them. I've
I've listened to
listened to a
like the
few.
Nirvana one, but little
Yo, have you
bits of
listened to Shakira's?
Shakira has one.
Oh yeah. You gotta listen to
That's interesting.
Shakira's.
I
So
can.
do you know her story? She was like a Alanis Morissette of like Spanish music,
She's
like
Colombian,
Spanish
right?
language. Yes, I believe so. Yeah, so like a Colombian Alanis Morissette. She sang like grungy pop rock, like 90s rock. And it's in all Spanish, her unplugged. Before she was famous here, she was like famous in Colombia for being like a rocker.
I need to
And
check out
it
more of her
rules.
stuff.
Like I love listening to that album when I don't want to like because I don't speak that well of Spanish, so I can't really understand what she's
It's
saying.
yeah, I
So I'll
need to
just
get
put it
more.
on.
It's funny. I've been wanting to get into more Spanish music anyway, which is really interesting because
Mhm.
ever since last week, I I've been wanting to get into him even before everything happened. But I just started listening to Bad Bunny,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't
and
gotten into him yet. Yeah.
but I've been
But his
wanting to get
show
into
was
him.
phenomenal. The halftime show
Yeah,
was
it was
great.
so good. I
Yeah.
loved it, and I loved last year's, but I think this year tops it by a long shot.
Yeah. I mean, it
But
won't for me because I love Kendrick Lamar,
I love
but
Kendrick.
it
Oh, I
was
love
really
Kendrick
good.
too. I love Kendrick
Yeah.
too. I don't know. There's just something about like Bad Bunny has been such a huge presence in the last several years in terms of Latin or Spanish
Mm-hmm.
speaking music. He's just been like the biggest name. Like I keep hearing his name everywhere I go, especially 2022 when the Heart album came, which I think translates to like A Day Without You into
Mm.
English. That album was like he was already a big name, but that album took him internationally,
Oh, for
and
sure.
then Mira de Mas Fotos, which is the one that came out last year, the one that won Album of the Year,
Yeah.
which I just listened to, is basically like what I love about him is that he's so passionate about his homeland, and this record is living proof of his home. And just
Oh,
like he always
cool.
brings in these Puerto Rican
I love
artists,
that.
and it's nice. It's just like his music is just fun. His music is just
Cool.
fun, and that's what Latin music is supposed to be. And that's why that's why I'm trying to get into more Spanish music because one, I want to learn the language to begin with, and the other part of it is that it's just you hear Latin music, it's just a good time. There's
For
nothing.
sure.
There's like I don't listen to Spanish music and think, oh, they're not, they must be miserable. No, it all sounds like a giant party. I mean, I'm sure it's not, and the lyrical
Right.
content probably doesn't depict that, but like it's like the atmosphere just makes it so enjoyable, and you
It's
just
that
want to be a
dembow
part of
rhythm.
that world
Yeah.
that they're living in.
For
And
sure.
Bad Bunny's last album is, and even the one from 2022, are just giant parties.
Cool. Yeah, I
So I've
haven't
been
listened to
exploring
the
him
albums.
more and
Cool.
trying to get more into Spanish speaking music. I actually also the other big Spanish album from last year that I listened to was Rosalía's last album, Lux.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. That one's
She's
good too.
if you don't know Rosalía, she is phenomenal. I
No.
forget where she's from, but the record that I really liked was her second record. Um, I don't remember the name of it offhand, but it's very flamenco. It's very orchestral and chamber
Really, I
poppy. It's
love
very good.
flamenco.
Um, I
Hmm.
really and she's got a phenomenal voice. So, but
She has
I
Los Angeles, El Mar
it's the one where
Carrera.
she's like standing at like the gates.
Oh, that's El Mar Carrera. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Hold
El Mal Carrera.
on. Yeah.
She's like an angel. Or a mother.
Yes,
She's like a
that's
Mother Mary or something.
the Mother Mary. Yeah, 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 that's El Mar Carrera. Yeah, that's the one. That album's really good.
Cool. No, I love Spanish speaking music. I love like the Spanish Phrygian scale and the flamenco stuff. And
Yeah, like that album's a lot of.
Rodrigo y Gabriela, I used to love. You ever get
I
into them?
Oh my! So here's a funny story about that. So Rodrigo and Gabriela, I was made aware of when I was a junior in high school.
Hmm.
I was in my sophomore year.
That's
I was
pretty early,
also
actually.
I did Winter Guard not as part of the Winter Guard, but I was part of the crew,
Hmm.
and so I would take them at on and off the gymnasium floor, because they need people to do that because they're timed for the
Hmm.
amount of time you're in the gym. And so my junior year, their show, I forget what the actual show was called, but the music that they used for the show was Rodrigo y Gabriela's interpretation of Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, I know that. That's
So
awesome.
it was
Cool.
I never heard their version. I really loved hearing it every single Saturday.
Hmm.
But I didn't really know any other songs they did beyond that. And then so I didn't really think much about them after high school. And then when I started to work at the Garden in 2016, the Stone Roses came back for a very brief
Mm.
reunion. And they came to the Garden. It was the only chance I had to see them live. And I
Yeah.
took it. And Rodrigo y Gabriela were the opening act.
Oh, no way. Nice.
So I got to see them
Cool.
with the Stone Roses. And it was
That's sick.
so fun.
They're so good. I saw them too. I saw them in the rain at All Points West, the festival. And not a
Oh.
lot of people went. And I'm like, I don't care if it's fucking raining. I'm going to see Rodrigo and Gabriela, you know?
Yeah, I feel like
They
I saw
rule.
them. They were recently like at the Beacon, like of the last.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
man. I'd love to go see them. I actually
yeah,
put them on kind of frequently just because they're good music for the kids to see like a performance of too and stuff. Just to see
that
like
makes
some
sense. I mean,
good
it's
flamenco.
instrumental. It's soothing. It's
Yeah. And they have ones where like Gabriella will on YouTube where she like tells you how to do her strum. She like teaches it. And
yeah,
it's not like they're gonna learn how to do that, but
no,
it's cool to hear someone talking about playing guitar because she's really good. I mean, both of them are really
she's
good in their own
phenomenal. They're
right.
both phenomenal
Yeah.
musicians.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um
it's fun to watch videos like that. I mean, when I was in college, I met the Kronos Quartet.
oh, I don't know them.
The Kronos Quartet are
Kronos
like
Quartet?
they're like one of the most famous string quartets. Like in terms of modern string quartets, they're just
Really?
well known.
I love string quartets. I'm gonna have to check
They're
this out.
really well known, and they I knew about them.
Do they do the trib? Are they the ones that do the string quartet tributes?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know, but the first time I ever heard of the Kronos Quartet, ironically enough, is through the Dave Matthews Band.
Hmm.
They
Cool.
on Before These Crowded Streets, there's a song called "The Stone," and they recorded strings on that song.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's one of my favorite songs on the album. And it ends with this outro, which scared me as a kid because it had just like a very off-putting chord at the very last few seconds of the little jammy section at the end. Because like the song ends at a certain point, and then like there's like a 10-15 second gap, and then there's like a little jammy bit, and then it ends with this really jarring sounding chord, and then it goes into crush.
Mm-hmm. I think I can kind of remember that. I haven't listened to that album in a long time.
I haven't listened to really any Dave Matthews Band in a very long time, and I just, but I just have these memories, and like I mean, they're one of those groups that kind of like also got me into playing sax because Leroy Moore was a huge inspiration for me, a huge reason why I play the sax. And ironically enough, not Clarence Clemens, it's the guy from Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
But but then when he passed, I was really sad because he left such an impact on my life.
For sure. I think you're the one that told me he passed.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's true.
I think you were. Yeah.
And I didn't really feel much for Clarence at the time because I wasn't into Bruce the way I am now. But now I kind of wish I appreciated him while he was still here.
For sure.
But
yeah, I'm trying to remember how this started. We were talking about the flamenco, the unplugged, the Miss Lauryn Hill. I got to see her, by the way. She showed up when I went to the final Wu-Tang chain.
Oh wow, she actually came and she was on time.
Center. Yeah.
Wow.
At Prudential Center, they had Lauryn Hill come out, and they had, well, her son came out too, and they had like the Young Dirty Bastard was there, but they had somebody else pop out, and I can't remember. They had a couple people that just like
that's crazy
in the middle of the show, and you had no idea. Yeah, it was cool.
Actually, that was, I don't know if you watched any of the Grammys last week, but so
I only watched a little bit of them, but I have to go back and watch.
I thought last year's were better. I just thought because I like the music from 2024 more than I like last year's. But there was a lot to like from this year. But the thing that I really enjoyed the most was the D'Angelo tribute.
Oh, they had that?
Yeah.
I know you're the one that told me about D'Angelo.
Yeah, I
haven't gotten deep into him yet, but I've listened to his album a few times.
I always tell people if you're an R&B person, you need to listen. Well, you need to really listen to all three albums because they're all good. There's not a bad D'Angelo album at all. They're all so good.
I'm sure.
The first one was produced by what's his face from Tribe Called Quest, but Questlove produced Voodoo, which is like the album I would tell people to listen to who never heard of it. It's just from front to back, it's just insane how good that album is and how good it sounds. But so they did a whole tribute, and Lauryn Hill led the tribute, and then they were just like, yeah, it was cool. It was wild. Like it just.
Yeah, she's on Voodoo, right? Is she on a song on Voodoo?
I don't know if she is.
Somebody.
I'd have to look at that. I don't think she is.
Or D'Angelo's on her album.
D'Angelo's on her album. Friends. They did a song together. I don't think they did. Okay. I don't think she did a song on his album. I know that they did something together.
I think it's on her. I know her album way better than his, so it's probably that.
But it was just like the amount of people that just kept on, and they also intertwined a Roberta Fleck tribute in the midst of them doing D'Angelo, and John Legend, and I don't remember who did that little mini tidbit. And then at some point, they're just like, again, they're bringing so many people on stage, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, and then she's like, yo, where's Wyclef at? And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, that's who came too.
And then Wyclef came out, and they did Killing Me Softly, and I was like, wait, they're missing Praz. And then I remember Praz was in jail.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not even talking about that.
And then like they're doing Killing Me Softly, and then like I was like, we gotta do this Fuji style. I'm like, oh wow.
Oh, cool, man.
So that was like, it was like the most unhinged tribute. It was like right after the Ozzy tribute where
they had an Ozzy one too?
Yeah, they did an Ozzy one. Chad played drums, Chad Smith, and then I don't know who else was there, but Post Malone sang. And it's always uncomfortable for me now to watch Ozzy tributes because every time it at some point cuts to the family, and they all just like look like they're silently judging because it's like it's Ozzy.
Sure.
I would feel intimidated just to play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because like Sharon, Kelly, and Jack they're household names in and of themselves.
For sure.
And
I mean,
they're just as much as Ozzy.
Right. Yeah.
So like the intimidation level is just there just because you're playing for them. You know you're playing for them. But Post Malone's also the perfect person to do it
Oh, for sure.
because he can sing that type of music. He was almost a rock guitarist in Crown the Empire.
Hmm. Did you
So
ever see his Nirvana stuff? His
I
Nirvana
did. I
covers?
saw
They're
him do
good.
About a Girl,
Yeah.
which I knew he would. It was funny because that was right after the West. That was right after the guy from Puddle of Mud did his cover.
Oh, really?
It was like a
I didn't see that.
month or two apart
Hmm.
because that came out, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, no, no."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Post Malone did it. I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, well, Post Malone can do it. Post
Yeah.
Malone's a better singer."
Hmm.
So like I knew that, and they did War Pigs, which was a good choice.
Oh, hell yeah.
I always will appreciate an artist doing War Pigs. Actually, I don't know if you know Faith No More at all, but
I know of them, but I don't know too much about them. I
so
know that Jeffrey Lewis likes them a lot,
oh
or
really?
liked them in high school. Yeah,
That's
that's like where I heard of them. He
that.
said everybody listened to Faith No More and Nirvana
You know
in
what's
high
funny?
school.
Having met Jeffrey Lewis, I totally buy that. That makes sense. But yeah, so Faith No More were an underground metal group from the '80s, and Chuck Mosley fronted them for the first two records. They never really got a lot of commercial success, and I wouldn't say they got much more later, but they definitely did more once Mike Patton joined the group. And Mike was just this musically savant singer, whose only other group at the time was Mr. Bungle, which is a group he had since high school. And then they achieved huge heights with The Real Thing, and Epic became a huge MTV hit. But towards the end of the album, they do a cover of War Pigs, and the metal fans obviously ate that up
Mm.
because it's War Pigs and it's Sabbath
Hmm.
and it's Ozzy and yada yada yada. But Mike Patton was also a troll, still
Hmm.
is,
Okay.
and so he once that album came out, it was doing commercially well and critics loved it and all that. So then they do shows and people would expect them to cover that song every single time because it's a metal show. But Mike is a very eclectic singer, and he's also just gonna fuck with the audience. So he'll do random covers, like he'll do "Easy" by the Commodores,
Oh, wow.
which they cover on the next album, and they do a really great
Nice.
job of that. Um, and I've seen Mike play. I've seen Mike actually play in three different groups live.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah.
What groups?
So the first time I saw Mike, he had a very short-lived group called Peeping Tom.
Hmm.
They only made one album in 2006, and they opened for the Who of all groups.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I remember really liking them when I saw them, but I didn't know who they were. I just thought it was very strange and weird, and I wanted to know who they were, but it took years to figure out that's who opened. The second time I saw Mike was with Dillinger Escape Plan on
Okay.
their
Cool.
farewell shows, which ended up not being farewell shows. But he played with them doing. I feel like I've talked about this before.
You did.
He,
Well, you talked about how you were crowd surfing.
yeah, but the first I went to two of those farewell shows. The first one he was at, I bought tickets for Mike, and so they did their. Mike did an EP with them back in the early 2000s called "Irony's a Dead Scene," and so he did that whole EP with the
Cool.
band, and they covered Malpractice by Faith No More, which was crazy.
Hmm.
Like
That's
I
cool.
knew they were gonna do that. I was kind of hoping they would cover Justin Timberlake because I know they've also done that, but I knew
Yeah.
that it was gonna be a metal show. They're gonna do Malpractice.
Yeah.
And then the third time I saw Mike was with Mr. Bungle, and that was great.
Cool.
My favorite part of the Mr. Bungle show was they do a lot of really wacky shit because it's Mr. Bungle's just kind of one of those over the top, crazy, like whatever happens type bands. It's just like they do everything. They cover so many bases. Um, and again, because Mike is Mike, he'll just throw in random shit. And so my favorite part of the night is when they do True by Spandau Ballet.
Hmm.
And so
Never
they'll
heard
do this like really nice, soft, sweet cover of of Spandau Ballet, and then they'll go into like a Slayer song midway through. But then they'll segue back into Spandau Ballet. Like it's and then at some point after the song ends, he's like, "You're the only." They saw a guy crowd surfing. He's like, "You're the only guy that's ever crowd surfed Spandau Ballet." So congratulations.
That's hilarious. Which song? How does Spandau Ballet go?
The True by Spandau Ballet.
Yeah,
That's boom bap boom bap boom bap. That's the one that goes like
song. Okay.
You've heard it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know exactly what. That's actually what song I thought.
That's yeah.
Guess. Yeah.
That out. I think I've also listened to that album out of curiosity because I'm just one of those guys that just I need to know what the album sounds like.
Yeah.
And I think from what I remember, it's actually a pretty solid album. I don't know much of their material beyond that album, but I know that there's a lot of good songs from what I remember. I don't know if you know PM Dawn at all.
PM Dawn? No.
PM Dawn, so they weren't a huge. Ziggy loves PM Dawn. He and I have bonded over this. So they were a hip hop duo, I believe. And I forget the name of their first album, but it has a very long album title. But they had a #1 hit in 1991 called "Set Adrift on Memory Bliss," which samples True.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. And they're from New Jersey. Who knew?
Jersey that part I didn't know. But
oh wait.
But the first record is phenomenal. I haven't listened to much beyond the first album, but that first album is just killer from front to back. It's just a great early '90s hip hop album.
Cool. We should get back to your album.
Yes, we should.
This was a good tangent though. So laughter music. So you started recording in May, right?
Yeah.
Feel like I just got caught in the police station or whatever in the movies where they're like, you didn't say that. You told me this on the last episode. The last one you said you had recording dates in May set up to record for laughter music. So
yeah, it was around. Yeah, no, I'm not. Now I remember. It was around Memorial Day weekend, I think, or actually was Memorial Day weekend, I think, when I started recording.
And what was the first songs you recorded? Which was the first one you wrote? The Tale of Mean Mr. Mole. Well, the first
that
one
was that was actually the first one I recorded. Was Mr. Mole. I'm trying to remember the timeline of when I recorded everything because
it's fine. So if we're starting,
it's been a year, but. Or not even a year, but
yeah.
But
you said you wrote Mean Mr. Mole and you showed it to Andrew and Ray, and they said you have something really good here.
Yeah, I wrote it in my notebook because I was just like, I need to write something, and I just can't think of anything. So I wrote a character song about a mole, and I was gonna film a video with Cos, but then he and I just never did. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
I know that he would have made a good video, but then I just get too much time passed and I just didn't feel like asking. And it's not a have to. It just would have been a fun idea. Maybe I could pull a Liz Phair and make it 2 years after the album's out. Who knows?
Oh yeah, or you do it live.
Or do it live, yeah, something like that. We'll see
and come out with it.
So who knows? I'll.
But that's one of the most fun songs on the whole album. It's kind of like. To me, it's like the keystone of the whole thing. So it's a good place to start.
I like that one because it kind of breaks away also from the theme of the record, which in a way you always need the light little bits of goofiness in the middle of a record. Like even though the record is, I would say, light the entire way through. I was going to end the record with that, but Max said, you already did that with the taco song, so let's put it more towards the let's put it more towards the middle when I was talking about the sequencing. And I agreed. That makes sense.
I love
and I'm glad it's there in the middle of the record. Sure. It was just a goofy song like we typically make, and I just loved the way everything kind of just came together so like every song, when I say this, every song came together very organically in the way that they do. And it's also interestingly that the only song that has sax.
Oh, really? I love the sax on it. And it's like a double sax type thing.
It's a double sax thing. I also do a little keyboard thing. And And then I had this one idea. I know it's kind of hard to hear, but after like the sax solo, I just go, "That sucks."
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
catch
like
that. I'm gonna
that.
listen to
It's like very distorted, and it's in the background. But that's what I'm saying.
Nice. And you have Max singing on it, which is pretty cool too, during the
Yeah,
second chorus, right?
the last chorus. Yeah,
The last chorus.
yeah. No, he had this melody in his head. Every time we kept looping the chorus over and over again, he just kept saying "Mean Mr. Mole," and
Mm-hmm.
so he eventually said, "Hey, you mind if I put this harmony in?" I'm like, "Go for it." And it sounded really, really fun. Really, really
I
fit the
I
song so
yeah.
well.
That that harmony made me realize that this song is totally within the realm of Ween for me. It's like a very
Oh my,
Ween style
you're
song,
right.
right?
Yeah, did you
Like
see
off
what?
Quebec or something
Yeah,
like that.
not to go off it, but I think we are coming back together or doing
Oh,
something.
I if they do, please. I say this all the time, but
There's
if you see it and you're going, let me know. Like I
Yeah,
really want to
I
see them.
have there's not a lot out yet, but they've been really active on social media lately.
Good,
Like they
because I know
bought the
Dean Ween got like something happen. He every time they go on tour, he has something that he can't mentally handle it or physically or something.
so like
He
I
hasn't
don't yeah,
disclosed why, but he has personal issues each time. So
right.
if they're
So yeah.
touring, I want to see them
I so
this
I'm keeping
time.
my eye out for that. And also people have compared me to Cake and the guitar player just died.
Holy shit! Really? I didn't know that. I love that guitar player. He's one of my
Yeah, like
favorites.
it just
Cake is one
happened.
of my favorite live bands that I've ever
I
seen. I've
want to
seen them
see
like
Cake.
three or four times.
I think it's the guitar player that died.
Oh
Someone
man,
just
he
died from Cake.
rules. All of the it doesn't matter who they all rule. I love their trumpet player, their bassist,
Yeah,
their
Greg
guitarist.
Brown, Cake founding guitar player who wrote The
Wow.
Distance.
Well, and he wrote so many. Like his riffs are amazing. But whatever, we should get back to this. But
Yeah,
the Cake guitar player is one of my favorite guitarists.
I know.
He's so underrated.
He
Like even
is.
songs like Stick Shift and Safety Belts, where he has like that.
Yeah, I need to get more into Cake.
I'll send you some playlists.
I need to
I
get more into
love
them. I
Cake.
really like Cake.
They're one of my favorite bands. They're so good. But yeah, Mean Mr. Mole gives me such a Ween type vibe, which I love because I feel like walking into that kind of corner of just being in that realm for your style actually is very appropriate,
yeah,
especially because we're from Jersey and the whole Pizza Bagel Records thing. Like it just
yeah.
adds that kind of.
It also makes sense because I mean I love Ween.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly I like Ween and I probably will like Cake and bands of that nature.
Right.
But it's definitely has a very I guess I'll just say it has a very Ocean Man type vibe where it's
Mm.
just like so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Um and not meant to be written for children's music, but it is written for children's music, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's got that like chaotic like controlled chaos energy.
Yep. I was thinking even more like I can't even. I don't know. I'm looking at their discography right now, but there's some more like of their fluffy songs. Even like it's not even fluffy. Some of their more like serious songs, I guess, like what Diener's talking about type vibe or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's
Like
been a
just the
minute.
way that it was produced, not even
It's
the.
been a minute since I've listened to Ween.
You know what's cool? And man, we're the Tangent Kings, but what Diener is talking about is one of my favorite Ween songs, and I thought it was so cool that after COVID, the first song that they played when they started touring again was that song,
That's
which
fun.
just was like such a cool like we're back, we're gonna play this song.
I love it.
But yeah, for laughter music, what was so you went in, you probably recorded the Tail Mean Mr. Mole first, and Ken played bass on that. You have in the liner notes too,
Yes.
which I love the bass line in that
Yeah,
song.
no,
It's really good.
every time Ken is helping Max out in the studio, Ken always does something magical, and it's generally on bass.
Nice.
And then Harry's Killing was the same thing. He came up with that really great bass line on no, it wasn't for it was
For the roast beef.
No, it was for. I know the song. I can't think of it. Oh my God. I'm pulling up my own liner notes because I, through the lens of the mind, and it was hitting the brakes. He came up with that really cool bass line that boom, boom, boo, doo, boom, boom, boo, doo, doo, doo,
Oh,
boom,
cool.
boom, boo, doo. That's Ken. But
I forgot about that.
But
Reminds
um,
me
but
of
yeah,
that.
no, but that bass line on Mr. Mole's like one of my favorites. Boom, 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 boo, doo, doo. I love that little turnaround. It
It's
does
amazing. Yeah,
like
it adds everything
yeah.
to it.
Ken adds magic every time, and Max does too, obviously.
Of course,
Um,
yeah.
but every time Ken's in the studio, I always feel reassured that all the sessions are gonna go smoothly. I mean, it's the same feeling I get with Max. Like Ken's just another good person to have in the room. He also has really good musical ideas. He, I've also got to know him very well when I was playing in Goss's band,
Mm,
on a deeper level than I did before. He's just a good person to have in your corner. Um,
word. And he also played on Turn the Key and Drive. Did you guys record that the same day or a different
no.
session?
So the way that Max and I go about recording is that we always focus on a song at a time.
Hmm.
So if we're working on Mole, the only song we're doing that day is that one. And then
Okay,
the next time I come in, we'll work on a different song and we build the entire arrangement of the song. And then by the end of the session, it's finished.
nice.
Or
Okay,
not
cool.
finished, but like the basic
Yeah.
skeleton of a song is done. And we've been doing this for the last several releases that I've put out. And Max and I just like doing it in that sense for what I'm doing because it keeps me in focus. I'm not thinking about adding like doing like a vocal day where I'm trying to remember how the song is going. I'm in the mindset of the song that I'm doing and I'm only focused on that song. I also think for myself it helps me remember my own lyrics easier.
Hmm.
Um because I'm focusing on a song at a time.
For sure.
It keeps me driven.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I believe "Turn the Key and Drive" was the next song that I recorded um, that weekend.
And we
And
talked about this one last time too, right? And please
this one I
remind us
know I
all.
definitely talked about.
Yeah, it
Um,
was the once thing.
it was not once,
Yeah,
but
no,
Sing Street,
Sing
same
Street.
director,
Yeah, I
different
gotta
movie.
watch that still. Yeah.
I wrote another song that I was gonna potentially record for this record. That I watched the second time I watched Sing Street, but after listening to the demo, I realized it wasn't a fully complete song.
I was gonna ask you a follow up about that song. Okay, cool. So that's not
Right
finished
now,
yet.
right now it's kind
Yeah,
of a dead song. We'll see. I may
got it.
bring it back.
Hmm.
That one I'm not sure about because I played it once at open mic. Not that I disliked it, but I'll get to that.
It's not ready. Gotcha.
It didn't fit the project. But Turn the
Okay.
Key and Drive, I knew I was going to record because I just loved the way it sounded. I basically ripped off one of the songs from that movie, Driving Like You Stole It. I
Okay.
turned the progression. It's a much more simplistic version, but the ideas I basically took from that song. The vocal melody, I definitely ripped from that song. The vibe that I was going forward, I definitely ripped
Mm.
from that song. It doesn't sound like it because it sounds like 80s music. I definitely didn't do that on this song, so it's very more modern.
Hmm.
But and that's one where I kind of like I lean into the theme without trying to lean into a theme. Um, I just like the catchiness. I also love the keyboard bit that I came up with. Max thought we could add keyboard. I played that like the
Mm.
part. Um, it was
And you have
just
that like it's almost like an 808s and heartbreak kind of vocal auto
yeah,
tune
he
on
threw in
this.
the auto tune. I was like, this is
I
definitely the
love it.
right decision. I
Yeah.
didn't know that he was going to do that right away until he said, it's your pop song. We're going to throw in some auto tune. And he did. And I'm like, actually, that sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, but it's not like a T-Pain kind of auto tune. Like the way he did it is really good. It fits the song.
Yeah, I know. I also, I mean, I like the way T Pain does it, but like
I
the
do too,
style,
but
but the
it's not.
style is also just like it kind of gets weirds out. But T Pain also can really sing.
Oh, for sure. I love T-Pain. I'm just
T-Pain's
saying it doesn't.
awesome.
It wouldn't fit with this style song. It's like
No, I
a
agree.
grittier kind of. It has a slower tune to it too,
No,
like
I
a
agree.
rounder tuning. But it does have the, like I mentioned it before. It's funny we were talking about the Latin music, but this song does have a sick like dembow almost kind of rhythm that
Hmm.
Max is playing on the drums too. It's like that like boom.
Yeah, it's a very boom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It does have that. It does have that like that the reggaeton almost
Right, right, yeah. Um,
type of thing going
this
for
is
it.
one of
It's
my
funny
favorite
because I'm
songs.
listening
Yeah.
to Bad Bunny right now. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got like it has, and I had known you said this is you like venturing into the pop music world in your own way
yeah,
before I heard it, and I could hear a flare of that here, and I was like, oh, I thought you might have done that on purpose and been like, this is my reggaeton style
I
song.
didn't plan on
It
it.
just
Like
came out
again,
that way.
like I have a basic idea of how I send Max demos. I
Yeah.
actually just sent Max demos today for songs I'm going to be recording at
Oh,
the end of the
sick.
month. Um, More on that later, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I just have the bare skeleton. I do it the way I do it at open mic, and then when I go into the studio, it becomes something completely different. And that's what I
Nice.
like about
Yeah.
recording is that I don't really have. Sometimes I go in and I have an idea of what it's going to sound like, or I have an idea of what it's going to potentially be once I leave the studio. But there's times that I don't. And Turn the Key and Drive, I had no idea it was going to be the way it was. That's always also a pain to record for some reason. Like for some reason, like the rhythm of the it was just
That's the reason. Yeah,
it
it's
was
technical.
so it was such a
Yeah.
pain to record that. I remember like my arm hurting after I tracked the guitar part because it was just so intricate and it was so specific.
It's like a Strokes song. It's like reminded me of like the first impressions of Earth almost. Like the guitars aren't like chugging
Okay,
like the Strokes would,
I see what you
but
mean.
it's got that like exactly like you said. It's tight. It's very tight. Like the drums and the bass are locked in. The guitars are locked in.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Like
It's good. It's one of my
I
favorite
think I
songs that you put out.
really enjoy. Like there's not a song I dislike on this
Oh,
project.
me neither. This is a
So
really great record for
yeah,
sure.
thank you.
What are some of your other favorites? We don't have to
Well,
go in order.
the one, there's my two favorite. I mean, they're all. I mean,
Right, right.
I really like all of them, but the one that I knew that I was gonna like the most, even before I tracked it, was What You Wanted. That was the
Cool.
one that I felt like the most like I'm in my element.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that started when I was sending demos for I think I was sending him demos for this, and What You Wanted came completely spontaneously late at night. I wrote a song. I had for some reason Disarmed by Smashing Pumpkins on my mind, and
Mm.
I just took the chords and I put Capo 2 on, and I was just like playing the like a variation on the chord progression of Disarm, and then I wrote What You Wanted like kind of on the spot
Cool.
without really thinking too much about it. And it's like that, and It's Been a Minute as some of my favorite lyrics that I've written. I love the second verse where I'm talking about pizza.
Oh, me
I,
too.
it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then like I love because at the time I was thinking of Lost, and I added the John Locke bit.
Oh, I love that too. Yeah, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
I could just like the pizza bit was just so funny. It was like again, I didn't intend to write a breakup song, but I did with What You
Mm-hmm.
Wanted. And that situation never happened to me, but just like I talk about like the stupid things that people fight about. Um, and what's funny was that when I played it at open mics, I would always like riff with the audience, and I would say that this song sounds like a Disarmed by Smashing Pumpkins, but it's not. And that's how when I used to play it out, that's how I would introduce the song. And then the guy who ran the Cedar Beans open mic, Natty, who I don't know if he's still running the open mic. I hardly see him these days. He came up to me afterwards and was like, you know that song also kind of reminds me a little bit of MGMT.
Hmm.
And like I didn't think about that, but like it does have a little bit of that kids
Mm-hmm.
progression to it. Um, and so because he'd said that, the next time I played that song, I during the after the second chorus, I start singing the chorus to kids.
Nice.
And now I just
Amazing.
do that every single time I play
I
it.
love that.
And then
That's
I also
great.
try to incorporate other songs, like I'll throw in like "Till I Hear It From You" by Gin Blossoms or whatever song I'm thinking of. But I always make sure to include kids.
Cool.
Um, and what's even funnier is that during our release show for the Kindly Ones release,
Hmm.
um, one of the songs that we covered was "Kids,"
Oh, no way.
and
Cool.
so Andrew, we did "Kids" into the Neverending Story theme, and
Oh,
then
wow. Nice.
so Andrew wanted me to incorporate "What You Wanted" at some point, and while we were doing "Kids" or before we did Neverending Story, and I just every time we rehearsed it, I never found a place where I felt comfortable fitting it in because he has his monologue, and I don't want to interrupt the flow of the monologue.
Right.
Um, but in the spur of the moment, I'm like, I'm gonna figure out a place to add "What You Wanted." And right when he did the last chorus before he did the monologue, I'm like, this is it. This is where I'm slotting that little gag in there. And so while he's singing "Control Yourself," I'm going, I don't know what you wanted from me. And it was like the perfect storm of yeah, it was just the right move, and it just felt really, really good.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
because yeah, so I was very happy with how that sounded, and then I think the next day I worked on "The Wind."
Mm.
The Wind is an interesting backstory. The Wind is actually the second song I ever wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah, yeah. Tell
So
this
The Wind
backstory.
I wrote in 2013, and it's gone through several iterations. The first song I ever wrote is called "Chance," and I don't have audio of it. I don't even know if I have lyrics for it still. I
Mm.
think I do, but I'm not 100% on that. But I couldn't tell you how that goes. I have no idea what that song "Chance" sounds like. I wrote it before I wrote "The Wind." That's all I know. Um, but "The Wind" was a song that always kind of lingered in the back of my mind over the years, and I tried playing it live once. I there was a point in 2013 where I really liked it, and there was a point I really didn't like it. But it always just kind of sat in the back of my mind, and it was always like the what if. And then years later, I tried resurrecting it, and um, and I played it at an open mic, and something didn't feel right when I did it. It was I don't know what it was, just the vibe didn't work. Um, and so I said, okay, well maybe this is just a deadbeat song. I'm just trying to trying to play the song. It's just I guess it's not meant to be. But even after that, it never left my mind. It would just be like a thorn, just like every so often, like I would get the itch to be like, you're gonna finish me one day.
Mm-hmm.
So ironically enough, um, the same day that I was working on Mole on the Mole song was the day that I decided to give The Wind one final look at. And I said, if I don't get it on this try, then I'm just gonna give up on the song. I'm just not gonna release it. It's gonna be what it is. So I had to remember how it goes because it's been like 12 years since I've looked at the song.
For
I had
sure.
no idea how it goes. And then the lyrics I didn't really change that much. I changed maybe a couple of lines here and there if I changed anything at all. The reason why I was able to make it work for me was I originally had it in Capo 3, and it just didn't sound right when I played it in Capo 3. I decided to change it to Capo 5, and already I like the way it sounded in Capo 5, and singing along to it, I'm like, okay, that works. But the real kicker for me, the reason why I finally figured out what the song was going to be, was the way I sang the chorus, because I was doing it like line for line instead of "How does it feel to live a lie as life just passes you by?" Once I started doing that, I'm like, that's what it needed. I just
Mm.
needed to sing the chorus differently, and I needed to repeat the chorus twice. And as soon as I made that very minor change, all of a sudden the song worked for me.
I'm remembering you mentioned this last time. You sang it like Tom Petty, you said,
It
right?
became my Tom Petty song, and like that was a weird thing
Hmm.
that like I
I can
wasn't
hear it now. Yeah, you didn't
like
say
it
which
just
song it
like I
was. Yeah.
unintentionally made it sound like Tom Petty in the recording. Like when I was working on the arrangement, it was a strange one for me because I couldn't believe that after all this time of sitting on the song and not knowing it was ever going to see the light of day, it it just clicked and the arrangement just sounded so good
Mm.
that I was so happy with the result. Like it was like every time Max and I were working and tweaking something and we were just listening to the song, it was like I was just in shock of how good it was coming out and how it was coming together in a way that I never thought it would.
I love that. I didn't know that this was. I actually I listened to that episode. Like I re-listened to our last episode after having listened to the album a bunch of times and taking all my notes and stuff. And I forgot that you had mentioned that you resurrected a song, but For the Wind, ironically, I wrote that it sounds the most like your previous work, like almost like a calling card back to your old style, which it is, which is crazy.
I've been in that mode lately of just like resurrecting old songs. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the demos I sent to Max is another old song from 2015 that again, same thing like The Wind. I wrote it around the same time that I wrote Human Mind. I wrote it
No way.
after Human Mind. Actually, it was
Yeah.
like a week maybe after, like around it was around that time frame. And
Mhm.
I again, a song I played once, and then I was also and like I was like I when I was sending the demos because I knew I had to do that today because I'm recording at the end of the month.
Mhm.
That was the one. Even still, like leading up to tracking a basic bare bones demo, I'm like, I don't know about this one. I don't know. And
Yeah.
then and again, I don't remember how it went. I knew that
Mhm.
it was Capo 2. I was going to put on the recording as a reference, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And so I came up with this on the spot arrangement while I was sending the demo, and I just added like a like an open chord and like a seven chord at the end of the chorus. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I also did like a vocal line that I didn't originally include. And all of a sudden, when I finished the demo, I'm like, this might be my favorite one that I track in the four
Hell
songs
yeah.
that I'm releasing because like I just
Yeah.
unintentionally like just came up with this makeshift arrangement on the spot, and it just things like that just happen. So I felt better about it after finishing the demo. So we'll see how it comes out when I record it. I don't know the order of how I want to record things yet, but I definitely am curious now to see how that one plays out in the
Me
same way
too.
that the wind comes out. So the wind came out. So
I
I don't
love
know.
that.
Like I've just been in that mode of resurrecting old songs because I feel like not everything that you write you feel like you want to put out, but there's still those songs here and there that you're just like, what if? And then
Yeah, and sometimes you're just not the person to finish it. Like you just said, you don't you're too stuck in the who you are at that moment, or like the song doesn't feel like you. But then when you're detached from it, you're like, yeah, but that was me. But I'm not that person anymore, so I'm not
yeah,
attached to it as much now. It's like a throwback, you know.
exactly. It's like I
It's
wrote
yeah.
songs that were going to be for this upcoming thing that I'm putting out that I just feel like are just they're either not finished or they're just too angry, and I want to come off too angry because I'm
Hmm.
grappling with a lot of like really dark stuff, and I'm trying not to write so much about myself these days. I'm trying to build
Mm.
like kind of continue in the same path that I've been doing with laughter music. Um, but
No, you
who
should do
knows? Maybe
both.
it'll be one of those things again. Like maybe 5 years later, I'll be so detached from that song that I'll end up recording it, and
Hmm.
it'll sound completely different. So it's fun reminiscing on the past, and I feel like with every release that I maybe not, who knows? But like I like the fact that the last several projects that I've at least resurrected something. Even on Wilderness, I resurrected Rock Bottom. At that point, that was a much older song. So we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I've been recording for a little bit now. And I'm resurrecting two songs that I'm happy about. One of them was always good, but it never fit on any of my releases. And once there were 12 songs, I just booted that one because it's kind of silly. And then not as silly as some of yours. It's just like not as much of it wasn't the style that I was writing at the time.
Right.
But in the same vein, I just was like, I don't know, it's time. This song's not attached to me anymore, really, and I like it. It's a really good song. Let me just put it out. And I have another one that was like one of the first songs I wrote that's pretty good. Same thing. It just never. I actually tweaked the chorus in that song. I rewrote it. I didn't like the chorus, so I never. I also wrote it for my wife as a Valentine's present like 13 years ago.
Oh wow.
She was like, "You never wrote me a song," and I'm like, "I'll write you a song. I never knew you wanted one." So I wrote it. This was like when we first started dating, like 2 years into it or something, and I don't even know how many years in or whatever, what the time frame was, but I wrote it for her, and then I always felt like it was hers. It's weird to like put it out, but at this point now, I'm like, no, this song rules. Like it's pretty good. It doesn't rule, but it's a good song, so I should put it out.
Yeah, it's worthy. It's worthy for people to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I've played it a few times, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure she doesn't.
So, there you go.
All right, and then what else we got on yours? Heartache and Pain.
Yeah. So the last two songs I recorded, It's Been a Minute and Heartache and Pain, where so I'll touch briefly on those. So It's Been a Minute and Heartache and Pain I wrote. Well, It's Been a Minute I had first. I wanted to record Heartache and Pain. I knew that much going into it. Or actually, no, I think it's the reverse. I recorded Heartache and Pain first, and then I did It's Been a Minute. So Heartache and Pain I wrote, it was like that was kind of an inspiration from being in Nashville and seeing Jack White. And originally I was going to have it more like a White Stripes song. Then I then also watched the movie Sinners, which I'd seen twice at that time, and I loved Sinners. Still, like one of my favorite movies of last year. My favorite movie of last year, actually. And I love the music, and I loved "I Lie to You," the song that he sings where there's dancing in the ballroom, and then like they're showing all the musical history and stuff like that. I thought that was it's just a cool sounding song.
What's it about? I haven't heard of this movie.
Oh, Sinners. So it's briefly explain the plot. So it's about these brothers who buy an old abandoned what used to be a slave plantation from a former clan member, and they turn it into a juke joint. A music hall. After having some success in Chicago, and Capone may or may not have been involved in the business deals that they are doing, so like it's dirty money. They recruit their cousin, who's an aspiring blues musician, a cotton picker, preacher boy, wants to be a blues musician, recruit him in their endeavors, and then they just hire a bunch of townspeople to help prepare this juke joint. And then there's an Irishman who's a vampire who's turning the town into vampires.
Wow, it sounds like a Rich Sony song.
Yeah, so pretty.
I should definitely watch this movie.
It's killer.
Okay.
It's the same director. I forget the guy's name. He directed Black Panther. He directed Fruitvale Station. Michael B. Jordan's in it. Really great movie.
Ryan Coogler.
Coogler, that's his name. I couldn't think of his last name. I knew that it was Ryan, but I couldn't think of his last name.
Watch this shit.
Great movie. It's on HBO Max.
Okay, cool.
So if you have HBO Max, it's there. But anyway, so Heartache and Pain came originally as a White Stripes homage, but then it turned into what if Jack White wrote a song for Sinners? So it's a combination of like the bluesiness of a White Stripes song, but also mixed with "I Lied to You" from Sinners. So I merged those two worlds together, and it's like the only real bluesy song that I have on the record. I haven't written too many bluesy songs anyway, other than maybe um, Fatal Knockout is the closest I've gotten to
Mm,
bluesiness in my all the songs that I've released so far. But it's the first song I've recorded on Telly, which is really fun. It
nice.
just sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, I love
Um,
this song, but I mean, I love the blues.
it
I
was
actually wrote
so
this
that was
should be the
so
one I should cover of yours if you have your own compilation that comes out.
honestly, I
Uh,
would be down for you to cover that.
yeah,
I would
I might
love to
do it.
hear your interpretation of that song. I think it
It
would
will
be
be
very
done
unique.
for sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Be totally down to hear
I'll do
that.
it.
I need
Yeah,
to I need to check out more of your stuff. I feel like I'm so far behind.
yeah, you should.
Um,
But I haven't come out with anything in like 5 years.
yeah.
I'm gonna have my album out soon. I got to do the. I'm recording it with AC Boris, Alex Boris.
Oh, AC. That's a name I
Yeah,
haven't heard in a long time. Huh? Great
yeah.
kid.
I was just there today. We're done. Almost two more bass tracks that I got to do, and then drums.
Awesome. Yeah, AC's great people.
Yeah, it's been hard for me, but also fun because I'm like, I really want it to feel like a live recorded album, but I'm playing all the instruments. So
Yeah.
I didn't do it song by song, but I typically, well, I have my own recording process I won't get into, but
Yeah.
I couldn't finish this album, so I'm doing it with AC to give me some friction.
Yeah.
And um what I realized the problem was I was trying to go through song by song and I didn't like the continuity and I needed to like record all the tracks. Even some of them I'm going to have to redo, but I needed to like become a bassist again because I played bass in a band for like 3 or 4 years and I'm pretty good at bass. So if I'm just like laying down the thing when I'm recording the song that day, I don't have enough time to like get into the like even when I was listening to laughter music, like I have my bass out. I'm like learning the figuring out the chords with bass. I don't even have a guitar out right now. So I'm gonna have to do that with drums next.
Right.
And
And I get that too. I get
yeah.
that too. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm sure
fun.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
play
yeah.
bass on my own songs too, and even that is
Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's
uh
hard, right? To
it's
switch into
hard.
the different mode.
It's
And
hard to do
yeah.
it. That's why we do it song by song. That way we at least have a general concept of being in that mode of a song and not thinking about parts all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which I like because I'm not scrambling trying to figure out, oh, okay, so what did I do here, blah blah. And it's like it just makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm gonna keep doing that for everything that we do together, Max and I. Um, so yeah, so and then It's Been a Minute is the only other actual song. The other two are just like
Yeah, which is
goofing.
my favorite, by the way. That's why I saved
Um,
it. It's the most
so
catchy for me. I
so funny story about that one.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I had two demos. That and the other song was called Those Moves. Those Moves was a song that I wrote after watching Sing Street the second time. And I was
Okay.
trying to go back and forth between those two demos. I was up late after finishing Heartache and Pain. I was home. I was just in my room listening to both of the demos and trying to figure out which song I liked more and which song I wanted to release more. And those moves I felt just from the demo that it wasn't finished. And I felt like there's more that I could have done to improve upon what was there. And ultimately, I so much time has passed now with that song that I feel like I may not even go back and work on it, or if I do, it might be down the road.
Years. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll put a pin on that one for now. But It's Been a Minute just felt more finished and it felt more substantial, and I felt like I could work with it. So it just like that one ultimately won in my head. I was like, okay, this is the one I'm going to choose. And then I go into Max and I say, I want to work on this one, and he agreed. He would have chosen that one anyway.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You always need a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That one I wrote actually at Cedar Beans, and I just another one of those like nonsense songs that I had an idea and I liked the chorus very much. And again, my favorite verses The artichoke dipped in that special sauce is one of my favorite lyrics I've ever written.
That's such a good verse.
I have
love
no
that
idea what that
verse.
means. It means
Yeah.
nothing. It just sounded really cool, especially with the way I'm singing it. Like, I bit my tongue while choking on your artichokes, dipped in that special sauce, mixed with pepper flakes. I'm just like, it's just so stupid, and it doesn't mean anything, but I just
Right.
love it. It
But
like it
it's
takes me back.
so catchy.
Yeah.
Though I love the way you say epiphany. It like pops into the pop
Epiphany. Oh my
filter.
god. Yeah.
It's like super enunciated. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I actually played that recently, and I completely forgot the second verse, and then it came to me after I was
You
done.
gotta just make it up. You know?
I did. I actually.
Yeah.
That's what I do all the time. I make up a verse that's like vaguely related to it,
Right.
and it works.
Mhm.
But that song was just again. It was another one of those where like I kept tracking, and actually I was like kind of not feeling well when I tracked the vocals for both of those songs, and I don't know if
Really?
you could hear it on the
No.
recording, but like I definitely wasn't able to sing with full. I just sang the best I could.
I
with,
like the singing on that.
which is funny because like it sound like you can't tell.
Yeah.
But I definitely was congested, and I would definitely felt like I definitely got like a cold or sinus infection or something after the recording.
Yeah.
But I don't want to waste the sessions, and I already booked them, and I'm like,
Right.
it's gonna be okay. No one's gonna notice. But also like that, like I also like the do 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 do. It kind of reminds me of like Anthem 2 by Blink-182.
Oh hell yeah! Have you ever noticed that Enema of the State ends with Anthem Part 1? And
Yes.
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket starts with Anthem Part 2.
I've always thought about that.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I
It's
love
so
that.
cool, right? But
That's
yeah,
great.
it does remind me of that. You know, I can't figure out which band the whole vibe of this song reminds me of. I want to say maybe like a car seat headrest type of thing.
Interesting.
Early car seat headrest or something like that. Like
I'm not super familiar with car seat headrest. Obviously, I know them, but I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not as
I only
in
know a
depth.
few songs, so I'm trying to figure out. It gives me like pulls me into this vibe though of like that era.
Yeah,
And
I don't.
really
Yeah,
dig it.
I've definitely heard car seat headrest songs, but like I couldn't tell you what they sound like.
I think that they're in this wheelhouse a little bit. I don't think this is like a copy of it, but I think they got this kind of vibe. At least the early stuff. But yeah, I love it. This is my favorite song on the album for sure. I just think it has like, well, at least my favorite now. You know, they always change.
Yeah, it definitely became one of mine when I was recording. Like again, every time I record, it's always like I always have a different favorite, and like that became just like an instant. It's just I guess I was also ahead of the 6-7 trend because the 6-7 months.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you if you put that in there on purpose.
Nope.
Because you say it's been a minute or six. What do you say?
6-7 months.
Nope.
No intention behind that. I mean, this is well before the trend, so I had no idea what it was one of those things I ad-libbed.
That's hilarious.
On the spot. So I just was like, it's been a minute or 6-7 months or 500,000 days. And has it really been a minute? And which is funny because the other reason why I ended up picking that song over those moves was because I wanted to lead. I wanted an instrumental to lead into another song. So the instrumental that precedes it samples the has it really been a minute? Has it really been a minute? And then you hear it's been a minute the next song. So that worked out perfectly. And when I did my release show and I played those two instrumental tracks, I played It's Been a Minute. It was just perfect.
Why didn't you make It's Been the intro a minute though? That was my only complaint about this album.
Well, the interlude that precedes It's Been a Minute is a minute.
No, that's what I mean. It shows it in Spotify as at least as 56 seconds.
Oh, it was supposed to be a minute, and then it ended up just not working out.
Okay, so it got cut weird.
They got cut weird, I guess. Okay. But it was supposed to.
It is a minute. Good.
That was supposed to be the joke.
Cool.
But I guess, things happen in the editing.
Yeah.
The intent was there. But that was the idea.
No, I love the lead in, and I do love how the instrumental like has like a different kind. It's like got like a dissonant kind of sound to it, and then it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It cracks into the song.
Yeah, and then I also had like the goofy like, okay, here we go, and then like and then Max heard me do that, and then like every time we edit it, he's like, "You're keeping that in, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I have to keep that in there."
You know what else I like about this song too is I don't know if you've done this ever before or not, but it's got like a slang that I haven't heard a song named after before, and I really like when people do when they capture like the current or any pattern. You know, I don't know if people still say it's been a minute, but like we would say that in our generation.
Yeah,
and I haven't heard a song using that, and it's like capturing that for Nashville.
it was just a random title I came up with. Like again, I always come up with my titles on the spot, and so I just wrote that down, and I didn't even think twice about it, and it just
right. And that's how it happens. You're just
and now every time I say it's been a minute, that song plays in my head.
Right.
So
exactly.
like it's
that's
just
So
it's like it's like a perfect storm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so a few more questions.
Sure.
If you have time.
Yeah.
The album artwork, we haven't touched on that.
Oh no, we haven't.
Yeah, you want to tell us about that?
All right. So lately, what I've been doing, I've been doing the lazy approach, and the last couple of things, I've just taken random pictures and put them through some form of social media, and that just becomes the album artwork.
Right.
This one was Snapchat, and
cool.
I don't post anything on Snapchat. I look at stories of other people I follow, kind of, but not really. But that's about it. But like I pretty much use the scissor tool, and that's become like my best friend in terms of. I basically use it to make memes at this point. That's the only reason I use Snapchat. I use it for making memes, and so I wrote the text with the yellow background, and that it's kind of a default thing. And then I took a photo. I think it's a wall, like a bathroom wall or something. And
looks like my wall that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. And then I just cut out a picture of Kevin the Sea Cucumber because I have a bunch of SpongeBob stills on my phone, and I just thought it would be goofy. I just wanted a picture of somebody laughing, and I had a couple of ideas that I was playing with, but that one just seemed like the most random. And people are gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" And I would have to explain that it's Kevin from SpongeBob. Because he kind of just looks like he's laughing in the photos. In the stills, I'm like, it's just goofy.
I mean, I love it. I mean, of course, my favorite artwork is the one for Harry's killing it.
But the one that's the photo of Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's iconic. It reminds me of Hurley, like the Weezer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Where it's Hugo Reyes from Jose Reyes. Not Jose Reyes. You know who I'm talking about. Hugo Reyes is the character. I can't think of the actor's name right now. I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna come up with the Hurley that I don't like.
Jorge Garcia. That's his name.
For sure. Cool. I love the artwork, and and then the other thing is we didn't really talk about the intro. I really like the intro.
We found a sample of like an old time like
Entry of the Gladiators.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and I just wanted to.
Like, that's the song, Entry of the Gladiators.
Oh, really?
I had to track it down because I was like, "What the hell is this song?"
Yeah.
ChatGPT had my back. I said, "What's the one that's like do 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 do?"
Yeah, and I wanted to do an outro kind of in the same vein, but then we never got to it. And honestly, it doesn't need it.
No,
I'm glad it doesn't. I'm glad it doesn't. Or what I want to do at some point is have like a secret song, like the song will end and then it's like like back in the olden days when you had CDs.
For sure. Yeah.
Because I listen to a lot of Deftones on the end of Around the Fur. Does that? There's like 2 bonus tracks at the end of the last song, RX. Maybe one day I'll do that, but I have to find the right song to do that with. So that's just something I'll do on my own time.
Cool. Anything else you want to tell the crowd, Harrison, besides where to find you?
I think I covered all the bases. I'm
Me
working
too.
on a new project starting next month. I have no plans of releasing. I'm just gonna see what happens. But everything else you can find on my Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp,
Instagram,
Harrison Beeth,
Instagram for shows, right?
Instagram, Saxmania18. That's where you can find me.
Hmm.
That's pretty much it.
Cool. It's always great having you on here. You're probably the top guest, and it's always fun.
This
This
is
is like
always
the shortest one we ever did, but that's because people don't know that we talked about Survivor for like an hour and
Oh
Hell's
my God,
Kitchen.
that's right. I think that was the last time. Forgot about that.
What?
That we talked about Survivor.
No, I'm saying
Oh, just
but
now, yeah.
this time. Yeah,
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 this
yeah.
time.
This
Yeah, yeah,
time
true.
we pre-gamed on the Survivor talk.
Yeah, and
The
I think we did that.
last time we talked about Lost for a while.
That's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
mixing up
Which
my
I do
shows.
like having on there too. We just were warming up. I would have put
True.
that on this episode, but
True,
it is
true,
what
true,
it
true, true.
is.
Yeah,
This is the concise version
that's
today.
true.
But yeah, it's always appreciated having you on.
Always a pleasure coming on.
Yeah, be well. It's been a minute since I've seen you in person, but hopefully soon. You know what I do.
Yes.
I always say I'll see you soon, and then I never see you.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. Maybe I'll see you soon. And
Maybe. Yeah.
thanks for listening to the listeners. Really appreciate you. Definitely go check out Laughter Music, but also if you enjoy it and you've never listened to any other of Harrison's albums, definitely go out and you know search through the back catalog of the podcast, listen to the stories of the other albums, and check them out because they're all great. You're on a roll, dude. I
Thank you.
really love the past. I love all your releases, but I really do feel like each one is really hitting it. So I'm
That's the
excited
goal.
to hear the next one.
That's the
Yep.
goal. Always try to outdo the next.
Hell yeah. So yeah, keep up the good work and yeah, talk to you later.
I'll talk to you soon.